All right, everybody. I'm back here. Hopefully, my mic is working. Always have something where it doesn't seem to work, but it seems to be flicking through right now. This is Saturday night, and I'm one of these, what I call a random podcaster. So I don't have a specific night that I come on. I try to do that, and the universe has other plans. So and my guides and my ancestors, they have me come on at different times. I'm guided to do so by spirit and not by man. Okay, so I'm back, and I just been laying out some promos because I'm teaching classes online continuously based on my books. Earlier this year, I taught for the third year in a row my numerology course. When I first taught my numerology course on my book, The Key to Life is Numerology, I taught it in February 2022, and I taught it for approximately 18 weeks as a beta course. And I had a lot of people on that particular course. We had a lot of fun. Sometimes those classes went past 90 minutes to like 2 and 3 hours because there was just so much information. In fact, I had some people that were coming through who were astrologers, trained astrologers, astrology students, other numerologists, people also into different aspects of metaphysics, spirituality, and so forth, and even dealing with ancestors. So it was a good opportunity for me to do that. And then I taught it in 2023, and I was a little smarter, so I busted it down to 13 online classes. And then this year, 2024, started in February, and we went for 13 weeks. All during that time, I taught some of my other out of my other books, like Decree and It Shall Be. I had a 6 week course in 2022 and 2023, and then I'm in the middle of an 8 week course right now. The last class for that will be next week on Tuesday, the June the 25th, and that's on the 5 point creative pathwork system that I have, which is teaching people how to use affirmations. And I'm not talking about affirmations from a book, but writing your own affirmations, writing your own prayers, writing your own affirmative prayers, learning how to do meditation in the right way for yourself, learning how to use decrees. And so, I have various students, and some of my students have taken over the years 3 and 4 different courses with me. And so, I just put out a promo here on my YouTube channel just a minute ago, a pre recorded video talking about my online 13-week course that's coming up based on my seventh book, brand new book, right here, Radiant Heart, the 7 amazing pathways to connect, activate, and communicate with your higher self. And this is over 50 plus years of studying meditation and coming across various techniques and learning how to apply them. I mentioned all types of meditation in that book. I also, in fact, one of the give you a hint. I give some basic meanings and understandings of how to utilize these different things. And let me see if I could find it right away. I have a chapter in here that deals with sound and light. And that's also important, how we are affected by these things. I give you a summary of the 7 amazing pathways, but I also take you through the 7 amazing pathways at the same time. And so people are getting this information. And, right about now, in the last couple of years, we've been hearing people talk about the higher self. Some people refer to it as the oversoul. Excuse me, we're having a heat wave out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And so some of the things I mentioned is, like I defined for you, guided meditation in the book, what mindfulness meditation is, group meditation, global healing meditation, mantra meditation, yantra meditation, sound meditation, flower of life meditation, moving meditation. Moving meditation is for people who practice yoga, hatha yoga, vinyasa yoga, Thai yoga, those kind of things where they have to be in motion, right? There's also Qigong, which is the grandmother of the internal and external Chinese systems of martial arts, whether it was taught in the, Shaolin temples and after, right? And then there's Tai Chi postures. And so there are many different things that people can begin to utilize to study and to bring forth a deeper connection to themselves. And then there, of course, there's a silent meditation. So there are many things in this book. Also, I also bring up a chapter. One of the methods is how to work with selenite as a way to connect, activate, and really connect with your higher self. This book is really about bringing up a lot of information, sometimes in a more simplistic format, so that you could get it and so that you could utilize it to activate that connection between you and your higher self. I brought in information from a few of my other books, like my book, The Wisdom of Akhenaten as I Am. I brought forth chapter 6 called The Path of the Cobra, which is in that book. I brought forth a chapter out of The Gift, which is The Wisdom of Nefertiti as I Am, where I bring in a chapter, channeled information on the gift of the blue flame. So there's a lot of stuff that's in this book, but it's enough in there that will give you something to go by. And that's the most important thing, is to share this information, put it out into the world. Now, even I know with the course, it might be for some people a high price, but it's well worth it. And I've got some ways in which you could, pay by installments and still get the material and still participate. So, that's the update I wanted to share. But I'm on here a little while longer because I say I don't often come on and do live like everybody is out there. It's important to put this information out. It's important to assist people, but also those of us that are people called now influencers and podcast influencers, TikTok influencers, whatever floats your boat, do it, but do it from your heart. That's most important. Don't be on here, because you need 1,000 likes. I don't come on here for 1,000. I'm like Lloyd Strayhorn and myself. We're sort of like the dinosaurs. We don't come on looking for likes. We just come on to lay out this information. If we get that many subscribers, like he has done, if you get that many likes, then so be it. The thing is get the information out for people. Try to hand it in a simplistic way or a thorough and detailed way so that people can begin to gather this information and learn, right? Lloyd will tell you he's self-taught. I'm a self-taught numerologist. Then I met Lloyd. I took 4 cram weekends in a row at the old Tree of Life bookstore on 125th Street. West 125th Street is no longer there, and Lenox Avenue. And I was in there every Saturday. I can tell you the date that we started, Saturday, December 7th, 1978, at 11 a.m. He met me there. And I went 4 consecutive Saturdays with Lloyd, learning this information, coming up to Harlem. I was overjoyed that I could come up there. Sometimes I drove, sometimes I took subways and mass transportation, got there to get this information. So, we're always looking for dedicated students, and that's important. Now, I said a lot of people are putting out books like it's a phenomenon, about the higher self. I'm not the first, and I won't be the last. There are many other people that are writing books about the higher self. And I say gather as much as you can, add onto your library as much as you can, but put in the work. This is very important, to put in the work, working on yourself, allowing yourself to make these connections when you are supposed to, and give yourself time. It takes time to do this stuff. I got a lot of reflection going on in my glasses, so I'm going to take them off right now. But you have to be able to travel these pathways to get this information. Nothing is handed out. I've come across many people, and even in the 13 years I've been out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've come across many people. Sometimes they don't want to do the work. Everything wants to be easy peasy because we got apps, we've got laptops, we got desktops, we got our cell phones, right? Notebooks, fire sticks. You got the internet. You can now go online and capture all of this information. But what I've also noticed, and this is across the board, sometimes I get emails from different people that I may follow a little bit just to see what kind of information they have. And some of the things that they're now doing is they're getting my books. I don't know they're getting the book, but they're getting my books. And sometimes they're sending me emails using my own phrases in my own books. I don't respond to that. Be original. Come up with your ideas. Don't use someone else's terminology, key phrases and words. These things I've been using for 50 plus years. So to see them in an email, like I should go, ooh, wow, but I don't. It's just knowing that this is how people approach. They lift bits and pieces and put that out to you, which is like, but what that does tell me is that they are reading my books, whether they're acknowledging it or not telling me, but they are reading my books. I've known some people to be in their metaphysical churches teaching my material without my permission. So these things happen. There's always going to be people out there lifting your material. If you're here to write books, it's going to happen. If you're doing songs and music, it's going to happen. Somebody's going to lift some words, some bars, some phrasing from you. But hey, what it lets you know is you must be pretty good at what you do for someone who's borrowing your material, adding it into their material without getting written permission from you. So, I'm on for tonight. If you have any questions about dreams, you got any questions about numerology, you have any questions about how to meditate, I'm on for that purpose this evening to help you remember what you are about. Remember how you could elevate your mind to get things. If you're watching me right now, do me a favor, tell your friends to subscribe or tell your friends to join in. I'm going to be, I'm a long-winded person, so sometimes I do talk beyond my time. I was only planning to do an hour, but I have a feeling I'm going to be on for longer than that. But I enjoy sharing what I know and what I've learned. Sometimes what is also important, crystals are highly important. Understanding chakras are highly important now. And the reason why I say it's highly important because we're on these laptops, we're on these cell phones, desktops. We're in the midst, living in the middle of a bunch of cell phone towers. And we need to have some things around us that block that stuff out. Like behind my laptop, I got a shungite tower, as I call it, a shungite obelisk. In front of my laptop right here, I've got an organite piece that I purchased from someone, and this has copper in it, and this also has embedded in it selenite chips and copper, shavings in here to ricochet this energy away from me. I have it all over. I have tourmaline, black tourmaline in my residence here. I have selenite in my bedroom. I got so much selenite in here, nothing's coming in here unless I let it in here. But there's so many other things we need to incorporate and bring forward into our lives so that we could feel better, we could expand. We need to receive higher wisdom, higher consciousness. That's so important. Hey, Rose Jefferson, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Well, hey, you haven't seen me on here in a while. So, it's an opportunity for people to study, and we should actually, when we study, we should actually have fun. Like when I was teaching my meditation class that I teach every Saturday out here in Albuquerque for my good friend Michelle Vidal, She has now taken Resonant Essentials and has raised it to be a nonprofit organization now. It is now called Resonant Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics. I've been teaching meditation every Saturday for at least some 3 years now at her location. Um, it's all in how you teach. I teach a lot of mindfulness meditation. I offer guided meditation, but I keep it in a very simple format because I only have an hour to teach. And because we're out here, we're trying to make sure that even seniors and disabled veterans and people can attend these classes. I only charge $10 for the hour, but it's very potent, it's very powerful. And if you people, I tell all my students all the time, if you attend as many of these Saturday 1 hour classes within 6 months, plus doing your meditation work at home at least 3 times a week, 4 times a week, but hopefully every day or night, usually in 6 months, you will begin to realize that you have created this bridge. You've created this bridge through your chakras, especially heart chakra, because what I teach is heart centered, and it allows you to build this bridge between you and your higher self. And people begin to have experiences. People say they see like behind with their eyes closed, they see like radiant, sparking light, iridescent light. They feel like they're outside at a fireworks going off. They feel that. They feel electrical energy moving through their body underneath the skin in the fascia area. They feel muscle twitching. They get a little itching going on and things like that. Sometimes a little itching in the throat. All of these things are the body putting out signals that something is getting ready to manifest so that you could have that experience. And so I've got these techniques now. I've got my Creative Pathwork Meditation System series. I use 5 light rays that will trigger. I use a yellowish gold light, which is good for the mind and relaxes the mind, expands the mind, the brain, so the brain can receive proper signals. I also have a rose pink flame light for the heart center, heart chakra, opens the heart up etherically so people can tune and balance and relax. I have all kinds. I even have my own version, but it's not like the Saint Germain version, but I do have a violet light flame meditation that people can utilize. I have so many different types, and even in my book with the gift called The Wisdom of Nefertiti as I Am, I was able to channel through her a 4 flame technique that you embed throughout in your body, through your auric field, and out all around you. And what it allows you to do is, like a vacuum cleaner, take out any negative energy that's imbalancing you within your auric field. And sometimes what it does very distinctly, it allows you to see what's in your field, what's hiding out that you don't know that's hiding out within the expansion of your auric field. And that technique is really excellent, and it gives you the opportunity to find that thing and kick it out. Throw it out the front door, and never see it again. So there are many techniques that I utilize to help people. I often find that mindfulness meditation is very important. Mindfulness meditation is being aware 100% of what you are thinking and feeling in any given moment during your meditation. And I utilize it because it's also good for young people. I've been blessed to have adults bring their boys and girls to my Saturday classes and sit with the adult students. I've had so far in the past 3 years that I've been teaching for Resident Essentials. I've had about 5 or 6 people, ranging youngsters ranging from 8, 9, and 10, all the way up to about 12. So this has been good. Now, this is not my first time teaching youth. I've taught youth when I used to live back on Long Island. And now that I'm here in the Southwest, much of my older brother's children are west of me, which is good. His youngest daughter with her two teenagers. Her daughter, that's my youngest niece Maya with her teenagers. Excuse me, Amira with her teenager Maya, who's a up and coming poet laureate, youth laureate out in Oakland, California, and her younger brother Joshua. He's into more like technical engineering stuff, but I've also been gearing them to be able to study meditation. So I'm developing things for my younger family members. Amira's older sister, Yvette, Carmen Yvette Mitchell Bay, and her husband Aziz, I'm developing things for them. They live in Chandler, Arizona, and their adult children live in Gilbert, and their adult children have their children. So I'm teaching them, meditation on in audio format, in video format. In fact, I'll be sending some more books out, these new books to them. So I'm here to teach family, and that's very important because my late mother, who I refer to as Mother Grace, Grace was her first name, she taught me a lot, and a lot of stuff she taught me indirectly. Some things she taught me by taking me on trips to visit her friends. And this is right a couple of years after I was out of college to visit her friends. And her friends were able to let her know if I actually had any psychic and metaphysical abilities and comprehension. And so that was very helpful for me because she was a member of two organizations which are still around on the planet and they originate out of California. One is the Rosicrucian, which is also known as the Ancient Mystical Order of Rose Cruces or Rose Croix, of the Rose Cross, the Rose on the Cross. And then there was the other group called Astara, Astara. And both of those were out there in California. In fact, a lot of this stuff was originating out in California back in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, and many other organizations are still right there utilizing many teachings, right? And Astara and Rosicrucian groups are all over the United States. So my mother was a member of the Long Island chapter that was in Westbury, Long Island, New York. But she knew people from Brooklyn, Queens, all the way up into Westchester County, as well as Suffolk County. A couple of people out there. So she was able to put me in touch, and they just talked to me. They also help me in different ways. Yeah, I want to make sure that, my older brother, he's also a metaphysical and spiritual person himself, but he's more of a professional drummer. So he's leaving anything that's connected to what he's doing behind. And I don't want to leave anything out. That's the main reason I'm writing all these books, so that my nieces and nephews and great nieces and great nephews and the great greats know that their Uncle Frank wasn't just an artist. No, their Uncle Frank is a spiritual and metaphysical teacher. So this way they can get this information. They're always calling me up, all of them, from Carmen to Amira, all the way down to the little ones. Hey, let's talk to Uncle Frank. Why are we seeing this in our house? And I'm living so I could tell them. I don't want to wait till I can't speak anymore, or I can't write anymore. No, I'm writing as much as I can, putting this stuff in and recording it and getting it out to the mail to them. And it's important that I do that. At least I know one thing for sure, Rose. When it's time for me to get up out of here, I left some stuff. I left some books. In fact, I got over 200 books in my apartment. I'm going to find a way to get those books to them, plus the esoteric school that I belong to. I'm donating my books. I have tons of books. I have books here that I I may just take to them and donate. I have my own books. Right now, I have Radiant Heart there. I've got The Key to Life is Numerology there at the center. I have, what else is there? I have Decree and It Shall Be. I'm going to be putting my book on the age the Age of Remembrance, the Divine Iron Presence in Selenite. That's going to be there. The Akhenaten book and the Nefertiti book will be there. And then I have to order my very first book, Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace. I want to put that book in there as well. This way I have books already there that I'm donating, and it's like a library, you see, so people can get this information. But I'm definitely making sure the young ones in my family get this stuff because, hey, I don't want to, you know, leave them without anything. I know a lot of people who do a lot of teaching, and still some friends from Long Island where I grew up, and they're no longer here. And guess what? The books that they had on African history, about Akibulan and all that stuff, them books are gone. Their family members didn't leave the children anything. They went and ransacked this brother's house, his apartment. They took the books for themselves. They didn't distribute the books. They took them and kept them themselves. So they're not helping anybody. Yeah, they got all the information. This guy had notes on how to speak Kiswahili. He had all that stuff. He had recipes that he learned from his grandmother, cooking. And these older brothers just took this stuff, didn't share it with the family members. They took it. And they're not cooks like he used to cook. And this brother was good in martial arts as well. Studied with Sanuka's Rue, with Master Moses Powell, all these other people. They kept his material. They didn't share any of it. So I'm not having that happen. Every book that I write, I send it out to the family members, all of them. I autograph it and I get it out to them. This way I know. And I don't know how long I have to live, but I hope I can live a long time because I understand that we're going to get a chance to experience within the next 10 years an opportunity to feel the vibration of the new earth. And I want to be around for the party. We're going to feel the vibration of people collaborating and working together and healing themselves and healing each other. And this is for everybody, not just a select few, for everybody. Well, there's 8 billion people or more on the planet. If we can get at least 2 million people, 3 million people worldwide, or 3 billion people to be laying down this truth, laying down this light, metaphysical, spiritual light in all languages, things will change. Things will definitely change. So we need to get this information out to people, and I want to make sure my little ones get it. And they happen to be somewhat psychic themselves. I remembered one of them when I was visiting in Arizona, October 2022. I was out there wanting to get together with my nieces and see the little ones. And then I found out I was literally walking into a baby shower. And my niece, Mira, and her family, husband, and them, they came. And, from Oakland, California, they flew in. I even got to see my niece daughter, Adela, who's my niece, all of them. I got to see it. The greatest thing that happened was, and I don't know why I have this ability. Sometimes I'm on, but I had an opportunity where they were all asking me, Uncle Frank, Adela's, going to give birth to the baby girl, and the doctor is projecting that she's going to be born in November the 18th. And I looked at Adela, looked at her profound belly there. I said, no. I don't know why, but the little girl ain't coming on the 18th. And so we were at the baby shower in the community where they live. We had to guess, the belly size. We had to guess the name. We had to guess the date of the birth. And I knew the name started with a J because in families people call the names of their children, start them out with the same letter. So her oldest daughter is Jayla, her next daughter is Jasmine, then there's a son, Jacob. Yeah, Jacob. So the next one is the girl's going to be a J. Well, I almost couldn't get to see, the name or hear it or feel it, but I knew that the baby's grandma, who is Carmen, Adela's mom, she's Scorpio, November the 10th. And I looked at Carmen and I said, you know what's going to happen? She says, what, Uncle Frank? That baby's going to be born closer to your birthday. She's going to be born in the month of November, but closer to your birthday. You're born on the 10th. I said, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going to just nail it. I think she's coming on the 13th. I can hear her say 13. I can see her project on the belly 13. Well, November 13th, 2022, I'm at a psychic fair. And at the psychic fair, I am doing my thing, and Carmen calls me at 12 noon. And I said that the baby was going to be closely between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m., somewhere in there. I got that call that she came Sunday, November the 13th, very close to 12 p.m. Everybody say, hey, next time we'll check with Uncle Frank. Forget the doctor. So, and now this little girl is here and she's ruling the roost. She's running everybody all over the place. So it's good to see these children here on the planet and engaged and very much open to the spiritual realm. So it's important. And I want to be able to teach them everything. One of the things is that the older adult children do have an interest in meditation, metaphysics of meditation, spirituality of meditation. They have an interest in tarot, wanting to learn that, numerology, crystals. So they already have the interest. It's there naturally. So it won't be difficult. Sharing this information with them won't be difficult at all. It'll be very easy for them to get this and comprehend it and put it into use. So that's one of the blessings. And they are all beginning to have the experiences, the great grandmothers, my great grandmother, Charlotte, to them, which is my grandmother, which is my mother's mother. They're getting experiences with my mother showing up in their dreams. So, they're plugged in. I just want to now give them the keys of meditation so they can really stay anchored and plugged in, especially connecting with their higher self. So those are the things that are very, very important. Well, today was, of course, the 22nd of June, and 22 is a master number. It's not Master numbers are not always easy numbers for people who are born on them or people who are carrying them as a destiny number or they have them in their name. And I always tell people don't try to give yourself a master number just as much as you don't give yourself a name without understanding how that name is built, how that name is pronounced. It's the same with numbers. You got to understand how that number is, what it's doing, how it's vibrating in your life every time it's said, thought about, felt, you name it, colors and things of that nature. Um, Sometimes I remember telling one of my numerology students from the course that I taught this year in February, someone asked, the importance of the name. And names are important. I always say, don't pick a name if you don't know what it means. I remember one time working for a place that was supposed to hire, people to come and learn and get their GEDs. And this was on Long Island. and there was a wonderful young woman there, and she gave her baby, but the baby wasn't born yet. She gave the baby a Japanese name. So everybody was excited. What was the name that she gave the child? And she proudly said, Toshiba. Toshiba. Well, there was a guy there who was a former Marine who served some time in Japan, who could speak a little bit of it. And he pulled her aside and he said, My dear, you must change that name. Of course, she got upset. That's the name I'll call my baby girl. He told her the name means horse, Horse. It doesn't mean what you think it means. Of course, the young lady got mad and her boyfriend got mad. And so he went to the library, got a book out, the library right down the block, got a book out, came in the next day and showed her. In Japanese, Toshiba means horse. So then she said, Well, now what am I going to do? Well, look, your baby's not here yet. You're just 3 months pregnant. What you can do is get a baby naming book and look at names that are African and so forth and go by that method. What they were trying to share with her was this, and I was trying to let her know at the same time. Horses are strong, horses are psychic. So try to pick a name that gives that same kind of energy of being a strong, intuitive, empathic, psychic baby. A baby who's well grounded in spiritual things, that has the light, the capacity to see light. Try to pick something like that. So she said, Well, what do you mean? I said, Well, I noticed you're wearing gemstones. She said, Yeah, well, there's certain gemstones. You can call your daughter amethyst. You can call her turquoise, or you can spell it differently. There's so many. You can call her opal. There's names that you could use where you could rearrange the letters slightly different and have the same power. So she started to think about it. And by the time she got into that last trimester, her and her boyfriend came up with some names. And I said, Make sure now you're comfortable with the name. But if you sound the name, I said, if you both sound the name, the baby will respond. That's how you're going to know. The baby will move around in your belly and she'll respond to that name, what it sounds like. I said, because in essence, you're really not picking the name. The baby is picking the name. The soul of that baby's coming in with that name. So there are things that, we have to learn how to do. And of course, we want to pass these treasures, these keys down to the young ones. I remember that sometimes my late mother always didn't have time to teach me, but she taught me in other ways. She would make me study Proverbs a little bit. She wasn't trying to make me memorize the book of Proverbs. She wasn't trying to make me memorize any particular biblical passage. She just wanted me to get a feeling for things. And then when I realized that's what she was doing, get a feeling for things, then it started to make sense. That I didn't feel like I had to use a Bible. I didn't feel like even when I studied the Quran, I didn't have to use it. I didn't have to, because one of the things I had to keep in mind was, okay, these books are out there, but I wasn't living in those times. So I don't know the true meaning of certain things because I don't remember living during those times. See, when a person remembers living those times, then those books mean more to them. And that's what people need to understand. So it's just like if I'm writing a book on dreams or numerology, a person has to feel connected in order for the number to work on their behalf in order for the planets, the configuration of planets, to work for them. They have to understand that first. Then, as they understand it, then it makes more sense. So often when I come on, here, people say, well, sometimes you're not making anything that's profound. I said, well, I'm not trying to blow anybody away with some profound wisdom, because here's the bottom line. We all have to work on things for ourselves. And there's a lot of information out there where it says the golden age is arriving. We might see it in 8 years. Well, that'd be great. So I know I want to be around. I want to see the planet shift and change. There, the people, a lot of metaphysical, spiritual, occultists, you name it, have said for many, many years that if people are still caught up in 3D drama, they will leave this earth and wind up in a location where there ain't nothing but 3D drama going on, because that's what they ask for. But for those who have learned to rise above it and keep their mind on a higher living, a higher source of living, a higher connection to angelic realms, David kingdoms, whether they rule plants, herbs, crystals, are they connected to a higher source to receive higher wisdom and get elevation? That will lead them into things. That's why they have such things as have a this guy back here. You can't see it, but his name is Burt Burt Goldman, Goldman, and he came up with this concept of quantum leaping. Now, there's a guy that developed a organization that's been around about 10 years called Mind Valley, and that young gentleman Vashon, he met him, and the guy taught him the technique, but they didn't have a name for it. So Vashon actually came up with the quantum jumping because he said he liked the TV show Quantum Leap, right? And that's about people jumping from one dimension to the next. And Burt Goldman is a guy that was able to find his, what he called his doppelganger, his double, that look like himself in the universe. But what it is, he found the various planes, lifetimes, where that are concurrent with this one. He found that part of himself being a master pianist, a master artist, a master photographer. And he brought that information back into this lifetime. And what he was able to accomplish was to demonstrate that he knew that he could play a piano. But what he tells you is he don't know nothing about the piano. And then he didn't try to learn about the keys. He just got on and started playing. He learned photography. He learned that he could be a painter, an artist. And he had stuff all over the world. I remember when I first heard about him before the quantum leaping, he was known as the American monk. And people were coming to him, and he was a gentleman that had studied Qigong and how to make the Qigong cause his body to be a little bit more youthful. So here's a guy that's 80 years old. He may look a little younger than 80, but yet he's 80 years old, still going strong, still creating websites, still creating paintings, drawings, you name it, because he found that part of himself that can do that. And here's the kicker. These military intelligence agencies, they know about this stuff. They're well ahead of us. They know how to do the time travel. They've done it back in the time. If you ever get a movie called The Philadelphia Experiment, and it's about how the people in the Navy intelligence didn't even tell the guys who were on the submarine that they were going to do time travel, a few of them. What the guys on the ship saw was a green heat wave, and that made them nervous, and they were running. But by the time the thing stopped, many of those men were fused into the hull of the ship. But that Philadelphia experiment was connected to what was called the Montauk, Montauk project, way out east on Long Island, where the tails are like the fish. And those people who were on Montauk, Long Island, were connected to the people in Philadelphia. And this event took place around August 12th to August 13th. I believe the year was 1943. And there were many people connected. There's a guy I don't know if he's still around now. There's a guy by the name of Stuart Swerdlow. His last name is Swerdlow. Swerdlow. First name is Stewart, and you might find Stewart spelled Stuart. I met him in Freeport, Long Island, and he was a guy that talked about being utilized. He had the energy being utilized, and they wanted him to create a familiar, more like a guardian, etheric guardian, to run around way out there in Montauk and these other locations to be able um to be able to control. Let me cut my phone off. They wanted him to control and protect this whole area out there so that people just couldn't walk up there and be snooping around on the grounds, because it was not only on above ground, they had this thing running around, but he was beneath the ground. And then he learned that was living two lives. He was working for the intelligence community of the military, and he was an average person at the same time. And when he figured it out and they realized he figured stuff out, he started doing things backwards when he would get to work at night. To one point, they just moved the whole facility on him. So he couldn't see anything. He couldn't prove anything. And then he was brought up on charges for some things that he didn't even do. But he had no control over it, and that was to scare him away. And now he's living in, I think, Noblesville, Indiana, somewhere out there with his wife, and they were into all of this, paranormal UFO stuff. But it's amazing. These things are in existence. They are being utilized, and people are being pushed away or taught that it's hogwash. It's not real. But yet you can watch Harry Potter movies, that whole series, and see things in there. You can watch what is that? The Chronicles of Narnia, all of that stuff. Airbender, right? The Airbender series. You can see it all in there. You can see it in children's cartoons. You can see it in the X-Men series, the Matrix series. All this stuff is impregnated in all these movies. But it's designed to make it entertaining, and it's designed so that no one really sees the entire chain links, how everything works. There are people who can teach you how to do remote viewing. There was an artist, I don't think he's around anymore. His name was Ingo, Ingo Swan, Swan or Swann. And he was the first person that was contacted to train people, especially in the military, to be able to do remote viewing. And he was able to pass those teachings along. There was another guy who is around. Two guys are around. One is McConn Eagle. I think he's a former general or lieutenant who has access to this information. Billy Carson studied with that guy. There's another guy by the name of George O'Donnell. He has his own remote viewing company or group, and he lives down in Florida. And all these people are teaching these things to the general public so that they know that remote viewing is not a toy. It is a technique that can be developed over time, and you can begin to see the future, or what is called the plausible future, the potential of what the future may hold. There are so many things. What else you could tune into? I got a Amazon Fire Stick TV. I'm always looking at the Gaia app in there, the Gaia channel. Why? There's good information in there. Lots of information that we need to draw on and put into motion right now in our own lives. A lot of material in there from Dr. Joseph Dispenza, Rewired Brain. Who else is in there? Greg Braden. Greg Braden, I didn't know, lived out here in Taos, New Mexico. He grew up out here. So all these people have this information. We need to jump on it. We need to read it. We need to study it. And we need to put these things into motion. Here I am living in Albuquerque, New Mexico. My late mother told me this was my home. Then I met a palm reader who was an indigenous palm reader by the name of Ted Silverhand at a psychic fair in Allendale, Pennsylvania, at the Metaphysical Universal Metaphysical Science. They gave an expo, and that was way back in 2010. And a group of friends from New Jersey and myself, they never been to an expo like that. I've been to tons of them because from New York City with the Whole Life Expo, the New York Expo, you got to meet all of these people, right? And that's how I met Ted Silverhand, and he did a palm reading, and on me, and he told me that, hey, I didn't say anything to him. He told me I was coming here to live. Then he verified it that I was gonna know I was here because I could see the mountains. I would be within 5 miles or more of the mountains, 5 to 8 miles. Well, when I moved into this senior complex here in 2018, March of 2018, one night I stepped outside because it was so warm. I said, I just need to get some fresh air. So I stepped outside, looking, and I walked to the front through the parking lot, visitors parking lot, turned my head, looked to the left, and I began to cry. I said, oh my goodness, this is what he said. I would see the outline of the mountain, and I would see the lights of the city and the houses. And the city and the houses at about 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, east of me, would look like little diamonds tinkling in the night. I came back inside and I wrote it out. And I called up one of my friends the next day and I said, yep, I'm here. I said, Ted said, live within the triangle and don't move out of it. No matter what someone says, do not move once you arrive. He said, you're going to have some difficult times, but you're going to have some fun times. And you're going to become well known for something specifically that you do. Well, I'm now considered the premier meditation teacher, one of many here in the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico. My late mother said in 1979 that this was my home. She says that when you arrive here, don't you go back to the east. There's nothing there for you. Yeah, you have some friends. Yeah, you got some family members, maybe some cousins, maybe your brother still's there. But Long Island is not your home, son. Albuquerque, New Mexico, is full of blessings for you. No matter how difficult it may appear throughout, sporadically, but that's your home. You're going to make that thing work for you. Trust your mama. I know. She's right. I'm right here making it work for me. So we have to follow these inklings, these messages that we get. That's why I called my little segment here, Circle Grace One's, metaphysical and spiritual keys of remembrance, because it's time for us to awaken. Now, there are many other things from, we want to feel a part of the tribe, our ancestors, you know, our, yeah, we should have pride in our parents, our complexion, but we need to have pride in our metaphysical, spiritual nature, because what we look like is not what we're going to be so much over the next 10 years. And I can tell you, if you find yourself, and people say this, how you know? My weight has gone up and down. I kept my weight at 230, 247 2 years ago. Now my weight's back up again. But I got more energy now than I had 2 years ago. You'll break out in rashes. You'll develop things like asthma that you didn't have. And then it'll come and it'll go. You will have other kinds of experiences. You'll have more intuitive experiences, spiritual, occult wise. You'll start through your third eye and your two eyes, you'll start seeing beings walking around. They've been here the whole time. Now you get to see them. Why? Because the veils are being lifted. The veil, the energetic veils around you in your home, outside, are being lifted. That's what people talk about, the apocalypse. It's the lifting of the veil so that you can see things for real. Veronica Anderson, how are you? Greetings from Atlanta. Hey, I have some folks down there in Atlantis. In Atlanta, I have cousins down there. If you ever run across Joseph R. Wheeler III, the founder of OnyxCon, ONYXCON, that's my cousin, younger cousin. His dad and I are first cousins. Joseph R. Wheeler III, a budding actor, an artist. He's doing it all down there, and he and his dad do a outdoor fishing events, and they were doing a lot of that. So if you hear that name, Russell R. Wheeler III, OnyxCon Foundation, that's my cousin down there. But yeah, there's so much stuff that we just need to put it out. You hear the guy 19 Keys, he puts out information. Billy Carson puts out information. There's just so much that's being made available to us, and we just need to take advantage of it and put it out there. The more we can put out, the better. And this is going to be helpful to the world at large. Because my feeling is this. My feeling is sooner or later, we're going to remember why we chose to come here. Sooner or later, we're going to awaken to a new us. We're going to look different, slightly different. We're going to feel better. We're going to have more energy. We're going to find ourselves sitting back like our ancient ancestors did. Yes, we're going to see things that are going to materialize. In fact, OnyxCon is on, let me put it in here. OnyxCon is on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel and he has an Instagram channel. He spells it like this, OnyxCon. He used to do the Black comics out of the southwestern side of Atlanta in one of the libraries. He has access to a lot of African American, Moorish comic book writers, and they would all join in. And this is his name. And he definitely lets you know he's the third. That's because his dad is the second, and his granddad, who they're both named after. But he has a lot of stuff to offer. In fact, he had small bit parts in the first movie, Wakanda, and the second one, Wakanda Forever. He had a walk on, but you only saw him from the back. But at the end of the first one, he was definitely in there toward the end with a cameo shot. But anyway, we all have these abilities. Whether we are healers, musicians, artists, actors, writers, scientists, you name it. We need to plant more seeds. The more, the better. And sometimes this stuff that we see in the news, it's designed to make us get out there and do stuff. That's the thing about it. These things are designed to make us go forward, to actually charge us up, make us a little nervous, and instead of saying, "Why is this happening?" reach down and become the magic person that we are, reach down and become the superheroine and superhero that we are. We have abilities and we need to touch them now. We need to put them out now. We need to boost our energy so high that we can form a protective grid around our homes, around our property, around our businesses, around our families. If you have dogs and cats and birds, around them too. And the bigger the energy field that we can project, the bigger the opportunity that we're going to have to receive. So, what we know how to do, put it out there. Some people say, well, we need to collaborate. Sometimes not everybody can get together. The thing is keep putting it out there. You see, time and space don't exist anyway. I'll say that again. Time and space does not exist anywhere. It was what our ancestors were doing. Hey, they put a stick in the ground in a certain way and they watched the sun roll around it, right? They could tell things. Those that created step pyramids, they could tell what season they were in. And they put a dial on top. They can walk up to the top and see not only the season, but the time of the day. So all these things are possible. And if we continue to keep creating these things, recreating, calling on the ancestors, calling on the guardian spirits, and I mean all of it. Just, other people in the world are calling the unicorn and dragon energy. You need to call it too. It's closer to you than you think. We need to put those vibrations out there. And the more, the better. Because then all people will start coming together. The ones that understand you, they're going to be coming in your direction. They know the ones amongst themselves who are against you. They're aware of that and they laugh at them. But many of them are going to start working almost literally on your behalf and with you to shut that stuff down and shut it off. So we need to take what we know and really tweak it. The more we can tweak it, the better we're going to be. Well, I see my voice is tightening up. Glad to see that you're on here. If you want to be in touch with me, I should have put it in the detailed information. You can always email me at iam.circleofgrace1. I should put it in here, my email. Yeah, it's time. We shouldn't be wasting because I've been doing a lot of reading too. And I read from many different metaphysical books, and I'm in agreement that we're getting ready to see this golden age earth come our way. And those of you that are in your 40s, by the time of your 50s, you're going to be partying. I'm 72, so I want to be around to see it before I get out of here. I don't want to leave here and not be a part of the big party, you know. So to be knowing that these opportunities are presenting themselves and the prospects of a fifth dimensional reality coming down into the earth plane, I want to be here to see it. That's like I remember growing up and seeing my grandparents say, hey, I may not be here, but you're gonna have a black president. I've seen it in my dreams. And then they pass away some 30 years before, and then here he comes. So they're there. These things are to be experienced, and we're going to have to put them out there. The more that we can do it, the better we're going to be. And this is going to help even more people. I'm going to put my website here. I named it Circle of Grace 1 because I named it after my biological mother, whose name is Grace, and she was my first spiritual teacher. That's why I call it Circle of Grace 1. She represents the first grace in my life. So there's this opportunity for us to see and experience and just keep expanding, expanding, expanding. Um, any questions before I sign off? Any questions anybody has? Be sure to like and subscribe so that whenever I pop on, you'll know that I'll be on here. I also um, do a 30 to 45-minute talk on Resident Essentials YouTube channel for Resident Essentials, the group, on Thursdays, usually around 1:15 p.m. And my podcast there is called Clear Blue Radiance, and I'm there. But if you want to get that information, the links for that, I can email that out to you, so you can get that information. So it's for everybody. It's not for any one select group. It's for people who are into metaphysics and spirituality and seeking to learn. And like I say, I don't know what the next book is going to be at, but I'm gonna write another book. I just did this one in March. It seems like I'm writing a book almost every year. So we'll see. Maybe by next year, maybe I'll write my other book that I want to write, which is Understanding Your Dreams. I might want to write a book after my podcast called Clear Blue Radiance, which talks about all the different gems that I've spoken of. Um, any questions about dreams or numerology? I'm here to answer. Maybe I'll hang out a little longer if you have any questions. Maybe you might want to know what your destiny number means, what your birthday number means, or what your personal year number is. There's a lot to be experienced. And next month, we're going to get closer to the sign of Leo, which everybody refers to as the Lion's Gate, with that energy peaks on the 8th. So the number 888 will be in effect August 8th, 2024. 888. Okay, so that's going to be a very powerful day, and energetically leaning toward that. That energy could boost your energy. So I'll ask again if there are any more questions. If you want to figure out how to sign up for my 13-week course on my brand new book called Radiant Heart, that 13-week course online goes for $437. There's an early bird price still in effect. I had announced it from June 2nd, all the way up to July 6th. You can get that course, take it live with me and other people for $365. Hey, you give me the 18. That's the powerhouse number. Your birth year is that 1954 I'm looking at? Let me get a sheet of paper here and a pen. Yes, I see Taurus. Well, you're born on the 18. 18 is a number of a person who can come up with dreams and other information. Let's see. Tell me about this little thing here. There it is. Yeah, you're born in 1954. People that are born in birthday years that add to one, they are helpers. So you might find that, you've had to assist other people along the way in your life. And, oh, this is cool. If you would like to look at the major arcana of the tarot, the 18th major arcana card is called the moon card, right? But it's the astrological sign Pisces. It's the card of the dreamer. So this means you probably have some very potent dreams, and you should write your dreams down. Yeah, you should write your dreams down. You're the kind of person that people will seek out, Veronica, for all types of assistance. You could be helping somebody bookkeeping. You could help somebody formulate business concepts and ideas. You could help somebody run their business better. You have that kind of mind. You see, because the 18 has the 8 in it, and 8 is a financial based number. It is a number that connects with tradition. It's a number that connects with law and agreements. 18 also has that root compound number 10 in there. So you are definitely a builder, you see, and you're an original planner. And people should get together. Oh, you have Pisces ascending. So, yeah, you're in tune with your feelings. You're very intuitive, you see, and you actually can see into people before they speak. So that's the power that you're possessing. And here's, Taurus is 6. So your birth key numbers are 9. To me, are 9, 6, and 3. So that makes you highly creative. You could work with small groups or you can work with large groups. And the 18 says you'd like to be your own boss. So you might run a business or think about running a business or put yourself in a position where you are the consultant, you see. So you could use something like transpersonal coaching, people give it different names. You could be a mentor for somebody. You might have also artistic tendencies that you should bring forward, like a writer, creative writer, poet, music, doing plays, fictional things, non-fictional things, composing music and dance. That would be very good for you, and you would help a lot of people out. Now, your birthday numbers add to the destiny year 1977, and whenever I see a double digit in there, that means you go through a lot of changes, a lot of ups and downs in your life. This adds to the compound number 24, and that's also the reason why you people look for you to kind of save and help them out, because 24 is an administrator. So you adhere to plans. You can be a very strategic planner. 6 is also working with family structure, education, medical fields, whether it's Western medicine, herbal medicine, Eastern medicine. You have that connection, and you can actually be an excellent teacher. If I put that 6 out there with the 6 with the 9, it gives me a 15. There are other numbers there. The 24 produces itself again, and also the number 33. You have a master number connected to the outside number of your birth date, 18, and your destiny number. So that means you can teach people all that you know, but make sure they pay you something for your time. You're just not giving up this information freely to people. You're always helping people. Ah, see, retired from healthcare. So you have a lot to offer. Sometimes people might bring you into the fields of the food industry, sort of like a not a nutritionist, but someone who's connected to cafes and restaurants. You might find that, very befitting to you as well. So, if you have that and are still have an interest, let people, again, you can become the consultant, see? So let people kind of assist you along that path. Again, you're the educator, you're the teacher, you're a cultural phenom. You're the one that sees something much bigger for people to be able to practice and do. And now, since you're born here with this, the 5 and 8 itself, that gives you the 23, which is a 5, and we add that into your birthday that you just had this year, 2024. So you are in, if I'm not mistaken, a 4 personal year. And this is going to be very, very strong for yourself. Um, this is a time to put your dreams to work for yourself and make things very practical and down to earth. And the more that you can do along those lines is helpful. Get as much rest as you need and as much rest as you can. You have a lot going for you, and you're just going to make things work a lot faster and a lot better for yourself and your family. So that's a quick analysis for you right there. Anybody else in the field out there listening to this, come on in while I still have a little energy left before I disappear. It is Saturday night, and tomorrow I have, what do I do tomorrow? I think tomorrow is the fourth Sunday. So I do something, a free thing called planetary healing. I'm basically teaching meditation in different formats, and I do that on the fourth. The fourth Sunday is free of charge. It's for my Circle Grace One organization group, and it's called Planetary Healing, free planetary healing, and usually it doesn't cost anything. Um, I come on at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, so that's 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's usually every fourth Sunday, and I put people through a lot of guided meditation. And not only are they having the guided meditation, but they are also learning to see for themselves in the meditations. And this is very helpful. So if you want to participate, email me. Get an email out tonight, iam.circlegrace1@gmail.com, and I will send you the Zoom link. It doesn't cost anything to participate. It'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain where I am, and 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's always on the fourth Sunday, like this Sunday coming up. And we're there to help each other. So sometimes people are on there, might know some astrology. People know some metaphysical sides of biblical scripture in there. All kinds of things going on. One of the ladies that usually pops in, she's an engineer and she teaches it, mathematician. So sometimes she's on there doing that as well. Oh, cool. And be sure to, take a peek at my website, Circle Grace One. I have it in the link up here. I put it in again down here so that you could see it. Oh, Melanie Hall, I've been waiting on you. I'm not turning off. Melanie's on. Melanie is tuning in from Australia. Yeah. Something told me to come on here. You have any questions? Let me put my email address for Veronica. I'm a person that, like I say, I'm a random podcaster. So I just follow when Spirit tells me to come on. I don't have a set time. I try to have a set time, but it doesn't often work. Whatever my ancestors and my spirit guides tell me to do. So sometimes I could be up here watching TV, they make the TV act out. Like, oh, okay, they want me to go on. Then I go on and I stay on for an hour or two. Then I turn the TV back on and everything's working fine. So that's how they do me. So, Melanie, do you have any questions pertaining to dreams, numerology, meditation, astral projection? Sometimes people like to talk about astral projection. Do you have any interest in that? I have information. I'm like one of my friends out here. They call me a walking encyclopedia because doing meditation for over 50 years, numerology for 54 years, I believe, 50 years for numerology, and which starts in July 2nd, and then meditation was happening in March of when I was in college, middle of my freshman year in 1971. So I have a lot of stuff. Yeah, so ask me, pop a question, Melanie. Ask a question. Yes, Veron. Lloyd and I go way back. I met Lloyd December 7th. I had my first class with Lloyd December 7th, 1978, up in Harlem. And it was like a sleeting day, rainy day, but I drove up from Long Island, and he was in walking distance. That's the cool thing. Lloyd lived, still in the same location, walking distance. He just walked over. We were at the old Tree of Life bookstore, and I had already been into numerology 4 years prior to meeting Lloyd. I was, teaching myself all that I could learn, and I just wanted something that I didn't know, and he had it. And the guys that ran the old Tree of Life bookstore, that was 1 West 125th Street at the corner of Lenox Avenue. They used to call it the UCLA of Harlem, University at the corner of Lenox Avenue. A lot of people came through there. Dick Gregory, when he had the Bohemian Diet. Uh, Victor, I can't remember this guy's name, but he wrote a book called Survival for the 21st Century. He had some classes. Gary Null, who had a radio spot on WBAI, he would be in there too. We had a lot of people with teaching back in those days. If you ever come across a guy by the name of Aries Latham, or he says Aries Latham, these were the people that taught at the Tree of Life bookstore. Aries is in Panama. He originally lived in Brooklyn when I met him. He had something called Sun Fried Foods. Larry Latham. I also met back then Queen Afua. She used to come through there too. Queen Afua was there before she used the name Queen Afua. She was there. Um, the late Dr. John E. Moore, and he was known as the hobo herbologist. And I didn't know, I thought, I had no idea that the hobos were the real deal of studying things. And he corrected me. He said, "No, hobos aren't bums, brother. We're people who travel the freight trains, and we get off in various cities, and we could do tailoring. We could, do medicinal things." So I learned a lot from the late Dr. Moore, and the guy who ran it was Kanya Kakumba, but he's no longer around. He moved down to Atlanta, and he passed, I think, about 2 years ago. He was the owner. I think that's how he spelled his name. He was actually a stockbroker that made out very well, and then got this place there and rented it out and started teaching. We had the late John John Harris. He was an astrologer. Um, he was there. There's so many people came through. I mentioned Dick Gregory was in there. He would pop through with his Bohemian Diet, you know, and so many more people was in there. There was so much more. Melanie's question: have you got a guided meditation that I could use until I can calm myself down to do silent meditations? Yeah, I'll give you one tonight so that you can always come back and get this. For everybody that's listening right now, this is a special meditation. This can fit everybody at the same time. Uh, when you do replay this, you want to be in a position where you're not going to be disturbed. You can use some candles if you like. One of the things to keep around you is selenite. I keep pieces of selenite like this. This is more like I call a finger wand, but I have big pieces in my bedroom on my altar, and I have 18-inch pieces. I got a 5-pound piece in there, but you can get them in tower sizes. But you should keep them around because they give calmness, so you can go to sleep at night. Put them underneath your pillow, in your pillowcase, behind the pillow, underneath your bed is a good way. Just keep them within. They can work conservatively and equally in a circle if you put them around the bed, underneath your bed and around the bed. If you can't do that, put them right next to your nightstand, even with your head, and that also helps you out. But one of the things you want to be able to do is start to learn how to breathe deeply. The ability to breathe deeply is very important. You can start right now, inhaling through the nose and dropping the breath out of the mouth. And you want to do that about 3 times. But you don't want to rush. You really want to take your time. Now, as you do this, you let your shoulders fall down. So if you're seated in a chair, you let your shoulders down and they'll roll back automatically. As they roll back, you try to sit up with using your neck and push up as if you're straightening out the disc, but you don't force it, okay? And what will happen is you're playing with gravity, and gravity will cause you to melt into the seat cushion. Now, as you breathe, you really don't want to hear yourself breathe if you can. If it happens, it's okay. Don't worry about it. If there's sound around you, you don't have to say, "Ooh, that's sound," and I'm being disturbed. Treat it as energy. Just let you relax. I want you to go to a place in your mind, a place that you remember. Could be a place outdoors, a place that brings you peace, harmony, and happiness. Your body responds to peace, harmony, and happiness. You're still breathing evenly and gently, not rushing. Your body looks forward to being in a state of peace, harmony, and happiness. Now, what's very important is that thoughts will race through, lots of thoughts. I don't want you to control the thoughts racing through. Just let them race through. You'll feel them just above the eyelids. You'll feel the nerves twitching. You'll feel the nerves gently twitching around the face. But what you're going to do is just let it be. As your eyes close a little bit, slightly open, you're allowing yourself to let the mind calm down. Key thing is your breathing. You're going to shift your breathing to breathe like a baby does. The baby relaxes the abdominal muscles and lets the belly button move forward. By doing so, the diaphragm that is right underneath the lungs gets pulled on. So as you inhale, pushing the belly forward, the diaphragm comes down a little bit. And like a bow and arrow set, it causes more air to come down through the bronchial tubes into your lungs. Without straining, you just let the breath go like an arrow going out. Now, you don't have to hold the breath at the top of the inhalation and at the bottom of the exhalation. You will be able to breathe in such a manner that the whole body starts to relax. You'll feel it in your hands. It will feel limp at the wrists, shoulders, and elbows. You'll feel that limpness around by the ankles and the knees. And in the pelvis, you'll feel it. Your job is don't fall asleep. But if you happen to fall asleep, don't get upset. It just means you're very tired. As you breathe, follow the air up into the nostrils, right about here. Feel that. As you exhale, lead the breath. Don't push it out. Lead it out as if you were in front of your nose, pulling a current energy out. You can pick a spot right in front of you. As you inhale, you want to feel your breath right in front of you. You feel something go up over your hand. That's you leading the breath. Just relax the mind and be calm. You could say something to yourself like, every time I inhale, I'm inhaling peace, harmony, and happiness. And whatever I do as I exhale, I'm sharing that peace, harmony, and happiness with my body, the cells of my body, and my muscles, my organs, my tendons, my skin, even my bloodstream. Just relax. Your thoughts will melt away. And you will feel better. And if for any reason, right about in here, you feel like I'm going to go to sleep, let yourself go to sleep. Guarantee you sleep quite well. See, silent meditation comes about when we master a little bit of guided meditation. We master how we breathe. That's important. It will come to you because you already have it inside yourself to meditate quietly. But what does that mean, really? It means you're not letting anything disturb you. Nothing. Any sound that you hear is just sound. It's actually energy. Could be a siren down the block. Could be cars going down the block. Airplanes, you name it. It's just sound. It's sound that's a part of life. You're not letting it affect you. You should place your awareness when meditating in this fashion in the center of your sternum. Right behind your sternum is your physical heart. And each lung is like a pillar for the heart. Once you get calm enough, You can begin to project your awareness away from your body. You could pick usually what feels like 2 feet away from you, or just a foot away from you. But you want to be able to feel it all the way around. So you will learn how to do that. And there you go. Just relax. And if you want at a later date, like tomorrow or something, I have a many free short audio MP4 or MP3 that I have put together for meditation and relaxing and points of meditation. Feel free to email me one. I'll probably put together a technical one for you, just for you, where I can announce your name in it. Just relax. See, with meditation, we're in no big hurry. You're just moving like a turtle, real slow. Nowhere to go but within. How do you feel, Melanie? You feel better? Just relax. See, when you do meditation, it should be like sleep. Don't let it overwhelm you. Yeah, I keep selenite around. I have selenite right where my bedposts are, toward the head of the bed. And where the foot of the bed is, I keep maybe one or two there. Sometimes I put it toward the center of the foot of the bed, and I create like a line. But I have, an altar that's loaded with selenite. I have a thigh bone piece. It's about this big around, and it's about that long. It's about the length of the knee to the hip. And so it's very powerful. So I don't need to have too much. But one of my students made, I usually sleep with lapis. I put lapis together, 3 little pendants. But one of my students out here, we collaborated and we made this. I gave him a piece of moldavite and he cut it in half and he put it in this metal. And in the back, he put a hole so that when I'm outdoors and the sun is hitting the moldavite, the rays of the moldavite can go right into my chest. And then I gave him 3 pieces of selenite, really a bag full, and he cut them in half and he polished them down, and we have it on this. So I wear this all the time. Only time it comes off when I'm taking a shower. Other than that, it stays on. I never take it off, and I use a thick shoestring to hold it. It's got a little bit of weight to it. It's because it's set on silver, the whole thing. And this is a prototype for some other things whenever I see him again that I'll have him make for me. But yeah, selenite and moldavite are very good for channeling information, channeling light, codes of light. We all have our own light language, through sound with our voice and things that we do with our bodies and hands. These things are important and they're going to become more important now as time goes on in these next 10 years. So when we get around 2032, 2037, big major shifts are happening. The more you can utilize meditation and the selenite as amethyst, you name it, the more you can use it and understand how it works for you, the stronger you'll get, the clearer you'll get, the more you'll be open to higher consciousness, which is what it's about. And we will begin to remember our divine self, who we truly are. So I want to thank you all for coming on. I'm glad I hung out long enough for Melly to pop on here, and she made it. Like I said, I'm a random podcaster, so whoever I connect with, I connect with. But be sure to play this, and if you need the link, I could, send you the link to this, and you can share it with your friends and family members. All right, I'm going to sign off now. It's about 10:33. That adds to 7. It's time for me to go. Time for me to tune into some of my favorite stuff on not on Instagram, but I like to watch a lot of UFO stuff, historical things. Well, I'm glad you did too. You're a very special person. I'm here to help you out. I'm glad Veronica was on here to help her out as well, and Rosie Anderson, I think that's her name. Rose Anderson was on here too. So I'm quite sure some other people are here. So take care of yourself, everybody. Sleep well. Enjoy your weekend, whatever you do. If you got that selenite, make it work for yourself. And remember, don't put selenite in water. It's too gentle, and water will jam it up, and it'll lose its luminosity of it. If you happen to buy selenite and it's trapped in there, don't break it open. Just leave it in there. That's from eons ago. Okay. So have selenite around, rough form, polished form. Have some moldavite around you. That's equally good. Amethyst. All of the quartz stones you should have celestite, celestial, celestial, I think it's called, and that's good for calming the spirit and opening you up toward higher dimensions and things like that. Try to get a book by Russell Simmons. I have 2 books by him. He lives now in, I think he moved away to New Zealand. He used to live in Vermont, and he has Stones of the New Consciousness, and his most recent one is The Alchemy of Stones. Robert Simmons, Robert. Let me write his name down. He wrote these 2 books, uh, Stones of what is it? Stones of the New Consciousness. Yeah, Stones of the New Consciousness is one book, and his other book is called The Alchemy of Stones. He's done a lot of teaching, and he used to have DVDs. And Brandon Smith and myself, we were trying to get him to see if he's gonna put these big crystal workshops he's had over the years, if he was going to put him into an MP3 file, because he has so much information. And he had a catalog, I think, that he still puts out. The catalog, though, has a lot of expensive gems, I'll say, a lot of expensive stuff. But nonetheless, it's good material. So that's his name. His catalog, which was always sent out free, is called, I'll put it, it's free, and it's called Heaven and Earth. And he has all of these gemstones, quite expensive qualities, but at least you can go use his catalog and go into your area and find gemstones. So he has a lot of material. So there you have it. Have a great night. Stay in touch. Email me if you like. I'm a night hawk. I stay up late. I wake up kind of late sometimes. And I just knew I was supposed to be on tonight. Yeah, kisses and hugs to you, dear one. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Rose Anderson, for being on. Really enjoyed it. And whoever the other people are, it's okay if you're on here. Let's see. Let me take a guess. If it's Indigo Moon, thank you. Thank you for being on here. If it's Jackie Fillmore, thank you. If it's Barbara Ewing, thank you. Whoever else was here, thank you for being on, and have a pleasant night, okay? And as soon as this goes off, it should go through the system. Give it about 30 minutes or so, and then it should set and be in the system. So, you could tell other people about it.